Well, I know it gives everybody something to think about. I, in particular, however, want to just address the plan as I see it. I was at the Planning Commission meeting, or the work session meeting on Wednesday when it was presented. I think one of the things we need to do, and Mr. Sellers said, well, you just put your car out there, you design your car the way you want it, and then let everything sort of fall into place. At that work session meeting, I brought up some points about the seeming encouragement by the Planning Commission to change the plan, to maybe even suggest changes that could be made to the plan. And I brought up the point that I did not think it was the responsibility of the Planning Commission to bring that type of information to the developer. The developer knows what he needs to do. But, it was one of those things that it initiated a discussion, and we started talking about, managing expectations. There was concern by members of the council that if we have a presentation to us, what is our responsibility, what is our commitment to a developer? A developer is going to spend a lot of money putting together the plans that they, for this plan, the plan on this, with this amount of detail and everything is going to cost a tremendous amount of money. And I think we owe it to the developer to know exactly where he stands. We have a design of a car, but if the car, is too big, I don't think that that's something that we should encourage somebody to design. And I think what we need to do here is manage the expectations of at least what some people in the borough feel. As I was listening to Mr. Smith's presentation, he quoted the comprehensive plan, how we had to preserve the green infrastructure and also maintain the viability of the business district. But there is another leg of that comprehensive plan that is also important, and that's to retain the character of Newtown Borough. When we set up this comprehensive plan, that was something that came through strong and clear, that people in Newtown Borough love Newtown Borough, and they didn't want it to change. It's not that they were afraid of change, but it was something that they cherished, and they did not want it to change. So I think that's one thing that was sort of ignored, the total comprehensive plan. This is something that this apparently does not address, or in some people's mind it doesn't. I don't think it addresses. Various statements were made that there were 9 acres of blacktop on the Stockburger lot. There may or may not be, I don't know how much, but I think it's a little bit of an exaggeration. It might be a lot of an exaggeration. And that we have to worry about walking by this 9 acres of blacktop for the next 5 years, 10 years, whatever, if we don't develop this property right now. How many people here really notice the blacktop at Stockburgers at this time? And I think we could probably wait 5 years to make sure that we get a good plan rather than rushing into something right now. One of the other things that was addressed was the maintenance of the green infrastructure. I'm the co-chairman of the Environmental Advisory Committee to Newtown Borough. And we just spent a long time, a large amount of time, renewing the open space plan. And we sent the open space plan to Borough Council. Borough Council accepted it. And it was a surprise to me to hear that in the Planning Commission, that the Planning Commission was no longer interested in having actual open space where you could walk and see trees and not have buildings all over the place, someplace that would be a natural area. I look at this plan, I don't see any natural area. I don't consider walking by a 3-story parking garage or condominiums or restaurants as being natural. And we had put plans together about trying to get some ways that we could retain the land along the creek so that it wouldn't be developed. But apparently, that sort of fell by the wayside, and I'm a little disturbed by that. There was some talk about having social activities along the creek walk. During the work session, I asked, how wide is the creek? Well, it's about 75 feet wide, and I don't know how many social activities we're going to have there. It sounds nice. We hear a lot of things that could happen or would happen or how nice it's going to be. And maybe it will be and maybe it won't be. But we have to look at what are we sacrificing in order to change or in order to obtain something that, you know, may or may not be of actual use to us. I think I'll wrap this up. I have a lot of other, well, I have a few other things. I'm sorry. I like what Mr. O'Malley had to say. He said, what we love about Newtown is Newtown itself. And I think this is something that I am concerned with. There was a statement in an open letter saying that anybody that opposes this plan does it for political reasons or doesn't understand the historic nature of Newtown. I take offense to that. I was on HARB for 4 years. I was on Borough Council for 12 years. And I did everything I could to make sure that Newtown remained a historic place, because I think that is what is important. If we wanted to live someplace else, we could move to Princeton. We can move any place we wanted to. Most of us have the means to do that, but we choose to live here. And I think that's what makes Newtown special. There was some talk about, well, we better take this development now. We could have a hedge fund come in and buy up this place later on. Well, one thing about when a property is developed, anybody can come in and buy it from the developer. So it's something that, you know, just because we approve this plan now, we might even get a hedge fund to buy it, because then it would be really worth something. So I think, once again, somebody mentioned straw men. We see a lot of straw men being put up during this presentation. And I think that we have to be very careful about what we believe and what we think we believe. I think the other thing is, I know that Alan has great vision. He has great vision with various buildings that he's put around Newton, and I think it's really great what he's done. But it has not been to the extent that we're talking about now. We're talking about 300 condos. I know that's not the figure. We don't know what the figure is. It varies. It changes. But I think we have to consider that it's going to be more than 140 that was originally presented. And I was doing some quick calculations with the parking, and we did away with 100 square feet of retail. But you know, we could put 50 condos in there and still have the need the same amount of parking. So we've just swapped out 100 square feet of retail for 50 additional condos. So, I mean, we're not really gaining anything, and I think that was presented before. I think, in conclusion, we're called upon to have vision, to look forward into the future, and see what people, a generation or two generations from now, will think of us. I know that when I sold real estate, people would come into Newtown, and they would say, we can't believe a place like this exists. This is such a nice town. We'd hate, you know, we don't see anything anywhere around us where we live. And I've always took pride in the fact that Newtown is unique, and it is something that is special. And it's my contention that 100 years from now, if we maintain our vision of Newtown as it is now, people will come up and say, gee, look at what foresight those people in Newtown had 100 years ago. They kept this town the way it is. They kept it historic. They kept it a small town and a town that we want to live in. Thank you.
This has all been very interesting. I'm Mark Craig. I'm Newtown Borough. I was involved with the beginning of an organization called Newtown, well, it's currently called Newtown Corporation. It was Downtown Newtown Corporation at the time we created the group. And one of the things we talked about was a lack of critical mass in the business district to be a standalone and a real destination for people to come and shop. And a lot of the things we discussed in the early years is how do we connect Sycamore Street and State Street so that we can create a little bit of semblance of that mass. And we never, I mean, I think we're moving in the right direction there. And I thought of the opportunity of this development as adding to that and perhaps creating that critical mass. And from the beginning of this project a couple of years ago, I've been quite in favor of the retail aspects of this and the community open space. And I guess it was a bit of a selfish way. I liked the idea of the office space versus the residential. The residential addresses two things that I'm very afraid of, and that's intensity and density. Both of them will provide traffic and a lot of stress on the infrastructure in town. And we're trying to give Alan some guidance on this, and I think a lot of the focus has been, geez, what's it going to give the community in terms of places, things to do and places to see and the visual elements of it, and I think that's all good. I think, though, that we have to look at, take away my selfish element of the office space, too, was that the office workers would come during the day, and they'd be gone at night and weekends, and we'd have it to ourselves on the other time. And the office people would come in the morning, visit the businesses during business days, during the day, and they would leave at night. And I liked that idea. And then when I read in the advance that we're now replacing all that office with residential, all I could think about was these people are going to work, a couple people per house. They're coming home from work. Then they're going to go out to the store, and then they're going to go do this, and they're coming home from work after most of the businesses on State Street are closed because few of them stay open past 6 o'clock. And I know you probably are all familiar that a lot of people work past 6 o'clock. And I'm thinking, geez, this is kind of disjointed. And from the selfish reason of, geez, getting our town back at night and having the quiet little new town at the end of the day, it kind of disappeared. And all I kept thinking about was intensity, intensity, intensity. And instead of having the nice piazza that we're talking about for us and for to replace what we have and then some. The office idea added to that. A lot of these people would be gone. So I think what we need to do is see what we can, we want to have all of us that are currently living in Newtown, that we want to be able to enjoy and continue to appreciate Newtown. I think we would benefit from additional opportunities for the retail, dining, and the integration into the State Street fabric. It's just we want to be able to enjoy that without having to deal with the negatives as well. So I guess it's my long-winded way of saying I really like that office plan initially, and let's watch the density of this and intensity of this whole project. So thank you.